everyone, back again with me, Tamaya. I'm a tourism student from Universitas Negeri Jakarta. How are you today? I hope you're in a good condition. So now I'm going to guide you virtually to a museum that located in central Jakarta. This museum has a deep meaning for Indonesian people because at that time Indonesian youth fought for one homeland, one nation, and one language. Yes, it is Youth Pledge Museum or Sumpah Pemuda Museum.
First of all, let me tell some information about this museum. The Youth Pledge Museum is a historic museum of the independence struggle of the Republic of Indonesia. It is located in Jalan Keramat Raya nomor 106 Central Jakarta and it is managed by the Ministry of Education and Culture. This museum is open for public every day except Monday and national holiday, open from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. This museum has a collection of photos and objects related to the history of the Sumpah Pemuda 1928, as well as the activities in the movement of the National Youth of Indonesia. This Youth Pledge Museum was established based on the Governor Decree of DKI Jakarta in 1972 and has become a national heritage object. Before we enter the museum, I'm going to tell you about the history of the building. The Youth Pledge Museum was originally the residence of Xie Kong Leong. The building was constructed at the beginning of 20th century. Since 1908, the Gedung Kramat has been rented by Stovia students or medical students and RHS or law students as a place to live and study. At that time, it was known as the Common Silent House. Students who have lived are Muhammad Yamin, Amir Syarifuddin, Suryadi, Asaat, Muhammad Amir, and many others. Since 1927, Gedung Kramat has been used by many youth movement organizations such as Sekarukun, Indonesian Youth, Perhimpunan Pelajar-Pelajar Indonesia. This building is also the secretariat of the youth organizations. Since it was used by various organizations, Gedung Kramat, which was originally named Langin Siswa, changed into Indonesia's clubhouse or Klugebo, which meant meeting hall. 3 years later, many students graduated. They left Indonesia's clubhouse. This building has also been used as a hotel, flower shop, and customs office. And in 1973, the building was renovated and restored by the local government of DKI Jakarta. Okay, after all the information that I said before, let us move to the first room. This room is called Ruang Pengenalan. As you guys see from the screen, we can see there are 3 statues of students reading books. Then, on the right side, we can see Batavia in the 1920s. Those days, the public transportation was tram. We also see the Gedung Fatailah, or now become the Museum Sejarah Jakarta, which used to be Balai Kota. On the left side, we can see school buildings such as Stovia. Now the building is Kebangkitan Nasional Museum. Then there is RHS Law School, now became the Ministry of Defense Building. And the last one is the GHS, now known as FKUI Salemba. And the big picture is Jalan Keramat Raya in the 1920s. Next room, ruang pertumbuhan organisasi kepemudaan. This room described the early growth period of the regional organizations that began with the Perhimpunan Indonesia in the Netherlands. This organization exists after the National Awakening, which we commemorate every 20 May. Here's the flags of the organizations like Indonesia Muda, Jong Java, Jong Sumatera, Jong Islamitan Bond, and the last one is Perhimpunan Pelajar-Pelajar Indonesia. Next room, Ruang Kongres Pemuda Pertama. This third room describes the first Congress which was held for 3 days from 30 April until 2 May 1926. Located in Frematselar Building, which now is Kimia Farma Building, on Jalan Budi Utomo, Central Jakarta. There's also a radio beside the youth because at that time the technology was still limited and through the radio we got information. At that time, those who own radios are rich people. This is the one of the reason why this house is crowded because there are also neighbors who come for it. Next, we move to the Ruang Kongres Pemuda Kedua. This room is located just we exit the first Indonesian Youth Congress room. This is the most important room of this museum. The second Congress was held in 3 different buildings and was divided into 3 meetings to produce the Youth Pledge. The first meeting was held on 27 October 1928 at the Katholike Jongelingenbond building at 8 a.m. Now the building is part of the Cathedral Church. The second meeting was held on 28 October 1928 at 8 a.m. at the Oost Java Bioskop building. And the third meeting was held on the same day at the Indonesia's Clubhouse building at 8 p.m. The Congress was attended by participants from the Indonesian Student Association or Perhimpunan Pelajar-Pelajar Indonesia, Jong Java, Jong Sumatranan Bond, Jong Batak Bond, Jong Islamitan Bond, Indonesian Youth, Jong Celebes, Jong Ambon, Katolika Jongelingan Bond, Betawi Youth, Sekarukun, and other. Also attending were several representatives of the Chinese youth in Indonesia. Here's the photos of the second Youth Congress participant. There's also a panel of Muhammad Yamin, who served as Secretary of the Congress, was tasked with its formulation. Muhammad Yamin wrote the draft while Sunario gave a speech at the last session of the Congress. At the beginning, it was not called a youth pledge. It was a youth declaration. Muhammad Yamin was the one who changed the word declaration to pledge. Now we go to the behind of the main building. In this pavilion has 2 rooms. In this room, there are informations about Kepanduan, which is one of the youth organizations, or we known as Pramuka. This room presents several collections and photos that related to scouting activities. We can also see the equipment and uniform that was used at that time. There is red and white Scout flag and a bicycle which was used for transportation at that time. In front of it, there is a monument called Monument Persatuan Pemuda 1928. And if you see from the screen, there is a wall sculpture. It describes youth activities in 1945, 1966, and 1998. Back to the main building, we enter Ruang Indonesia Muda and Ruang Perhimpunan Pelajar-Pelajar Indonesia. Here's two statue describes the school situation at that time. In the 1920s, the students wore clothes like this, blankon and kain. There was also a newspaper at that time, namely Benih Merdeka. This room exhibits the activities of the youth organizations after the Second Youth Congress, such as Indonesia Muda and Perhimpunan Pelajar-Pelajar Indonesia. After the Second Congress, the organization already not used regional name again because they already aim for one homeland, one nation, and one language, Indonesia. Then we go to the Ruang Indonesia Raya. This room exhibits Wage Rudolf Supratman's violin and the history of the Indonesian national anthem. When the Second Youth Congress was about to close, Wage Rudolf Supratman asked for time to sing the Indonesian song with his violin. So, in this building, the Indonesian anthem was played for the first time. The lyrics changed several times. In the panel, it says changed 3 times. For your information, at that time, the Indonesian song was originally keroncong version. Wage Rudolf Supratman created this song without Merdeka word because it is not yet independent. If you guys wondering why I only said Indonesia without Raya, because in 1928 the word Raya was not used, then a year later in 1929 added with Raya so became Indonesia Raya. And in this room also describe Wage Rudolf Supratman's life journey. His violin was a gift from his brother-in-law as 17th birthday present. Wage Rudolf Supratman had been worked as a teacher, journalist, and had a band. Wage Rudolf Supratman passed away on 17 August 1938 in Surabaya. And finally, we arrived to the last room called Ruang Perenungan. In this room, there are many sentences or messages from the Indonesian heroes, such as Ki Hajar Dewantara, Muhammad Yamin, Bung Karno, and many others, so that visitors can reflect, respect, and gratitude to the youth struggles by continuing to maintain the integrity of the nation. So that's it for our virtual tour. I hope you enjoy, get some positive values that can be applied in everyday life. And also, I hope you could visit this museum one day so that you can see and get the experience. The ticket only 2,000 rupiah for adults, 1,000 rupiah for children, and for foreigners 10,000 rupiah. And I recommend you to use public transportation. Here's the route. You can use Transjakarta, bus, train, or online transportation. For more information, you can check the official website. I will put down below on description box, and thank you for watching.